It's me Akash, and with me is my esteemed guest. Her name is Lola for some reason. She's a final year student of law. Uh, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, this is Lola, and as Akash said, that I am a final year law student, and yeah, I guess that is it.
So, I guess today you came here to share about your life experiences, the
Yes,
struggles you
yes,
faced.
yeah. Okay, so the major thing which I have, like experience in my life is, stammering.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so okay, a quick question. Like, would you like to know about that little story which like brought up the stammering thing in me?
Me, obviously, we would like to know. Can you tell some of the people who may not be educated what stammering is?
Okay, stammering is basically like when you stutter, और अगर अपन हिंदी में बोले तो इसको अटकना बोलते हैं कि like when you talk तो तुम कुछ words पे तुम अटकते हो.
हाँ,
So that is what basically stammering is all about.
ओके.
Yeah.
अब आपको देख के लगता नहीं है कि स्टैमर करती हो.
No, I actually used to stammer a lot,
या.
especially when I was pretty young. Yeah, I mean, like it started when I was in grade first, and वो इसीलिए था because like I was based on something जो मेरी गलती थी भी नहीं, which later led on to like me having like low self esteem or like low self confidence.
Right.
And when I left that place, तो उसके बाद like when I shifted to this new
Right.
school, तो वहाँ पे I used to stammer even more because of course like new place,
New
right?
environment.
And exactly, right, and the trauma which you had back then, तो वो थोड़ा बहुत तुम्हारे mind में रहते हैं.
Plus,
ठीक
you
है.
were a child, so.
Yeah, exactly, so that was the thing. And like मतलब me stammering like led to a lot of other things. For example, like less
Bullying
grades.
and all.
एग्जैक्टली बुलिंग तो होती थी, ठीक है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ लाइक इट ऑल्सो अफेक्टेड माई ग्रेड्स,
Yeah.
राइट, which led to depression and yeah, and like obesity and a lot of things. And now I am settled enough in my life, if I be really honest. Yeah.
That's great.
So that is the
So,
thing.
my main question is how in the hell did you overcome that?
Okay. Okay, so like when I was depressed, I mean, like it just might sound a little funny, right? But I discovered,
It's not easy, right?
Hanji.
It's not easy, right, to overcome something
No,
like
no,
this,
no, not at all, not at all. I
right?
mean, see, yeah, because see, like there are like few family members, right, who would mock you every now and then, that like this is not how you should speak, right? I mean, मतलब आप
Right,
इसका करवाओ because okay, मतलब like when you were young, right? So
right.
people used to think that you have this mental disability, right? Like
Yeah, mental problem, right?
yeah.
Autism and all.
Exactly, right. Which led me thinking ki maybe, like I am the faulty one,
Right,
right? And and that thing created this story in my head ki, maybe I am this way, right? मतलब maybe thoda bahut dimag ka hai. मतलब maybe I have some
right.
psychological issues. And
Exactly.
the funniest of the funniest thing is that my school
Yeah.
thought that I did have, like psychological issues. And, like they called this psychologist, right? And he had a word with me. And
Right.
he knew that, I have the stammering issue. And the worst part is that he told my parents that भाई आपकी लड़की को ना like कुछ issues है psychologically, तो आपको इसको अच्छे psychiatrist के पास दिखाना पड़ेगा. So my mother was like a little shocked because what all she knew was that I used to stammer, right? But
Right.
then she never thought कि मतलब I would be having like psychological issues. So
Right.
that was the thing, which led to more bullying. And like it just completely ruined me, right? Which led to obesity. And then I was mocked more in school because like I was very fat, like unhealthily fat.
Right.
And which led to depression because of course like zero friends, right? But like I still had like this one friend who
Mm.
was always by my side. ठीक है, I mean like no matter what, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, and then like I gave clat and I didn't do well in that, of course, right? And then I had to like drop a year. I didn't
Right.
clear that as well. So during that process, I mean, like during that time period, I was, like on YouTube, I was Googling, right? So
Right.
I found this one artist who helped me out with it. And yeah, that is it. And matlab, like by time, I was pretty much confident, like in my own language, right? I mean, like I started speaking fluently. And yeah, so
Can
that's
you
the
share the artist name?
well, her name is Halsey. I guess, you know, I mean, like not everyone is familiar with her, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like few are, like a few fans of hers, they know that who Halsey is really all about.
He's like a magician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, also like Eminem helped me out with it. I mean,
Uh, Big fan of.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, I mean, and the best part is that I mean, like when I shifted to the college of mine, people
Right.
over there, right? Okay, number one, like there was like no one to judge me, right? Secondly, everyone like belonged to some or the other family, right? I mean, like everyone had their own issues, right? So like there
Right.
was no one judging me.
Right.
And yeah, and like as I am studying in Punjab, so you know how Punjabi people are, right? I mean, like they
Right.
are very loving, right, and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, like even they helped me out, like after a while. So yeah, like I'm much more subtle when it comes to speaking and other stuff.
I'm so happy for you. So, so what are your plans for the future?
What are my plans for the future? Well, I would like to pursue litigation, and yeah, I mean, probably like I would be moving
See,
abroad after.
that's why I admire you. From stammering, you are going to go and argue against the judges.
Exactly. I mean, like I have been doing that, I mean, like since a very long time,
Yeah.
because I mean, like if you won't stand for your own self, right? Then like how the fuck are you even gonna, like talk in front of the judge?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's the thing. And I mean, like I just started taking stand for my own self, right? Because like
Right.
I saw that like no one would be doing that for me, right?
Right.
I mean, parents भी कब तक कर लेंगे, right? So
Exactly.
yeah. So like I just started taking stand for my own self, right? And my first fight was in my college. I mean, I still remember like I was in my first year,
Right.
basically first semester, right? And like there was this fight going on, मतलब, between the dean and the hostel students regarding
Right.
the food and everything. And me as being new and I have no fucking idea, but like I was like pretty much excited about it, right? So I went down there, right? And I was the only, like fresher who was speaking, like against you know, the
Hmm.
illiterate, like which they used to do with us. So,
Hmm.
I mean, and then there's this another thing, that, like on my words, they kept this meeting, which I was the one who organized and I was the one who did attend. So, my love, like there was this like proper meeting, right? But then I am lazy and I didn't go
Right.
twice. So yeah, I mean,
Thank
मतलब
God you came to this show. Other
जी
शुक्र है इस शो में आ गई, वरना सो जाती तो फिर फायदा क्या होता?
या नहीं, but then देखो, मतलब मीटिंग जब रखवाई थी ना, जब मैंने,
Hmm.
हालांकि टाइम वगैरह वो सबका सब मेरा ही था, but then I just slept because I just found कि कि उन्होंने को सुनना है नहीं है, ठीक है?
Right.
So like I slept, right? But then उन्होंने ना फिर से एक मीटिंग रखवाई, they were like कि कोई बात नहीं बेटा, आज नहीं सही तो तुम कल आ जाना.
Hmm.
And मैं कल फिर से नहीं में गई. But then like after a while the I mean the quality of food that changed, because मैं personally उसके बाद जाके मैंने उनसे बात की, ठीक है? मैंने उनको बताया कि सर ऐसा ऐसा करके दिक्कत है, right? And the best part is मतलब like especially being a law student कि
Right.
मतलब like what you learn is you learn to like record things, right? I mean like you learn to have proofs with you.
Right.
So I did that, right? And that is how like I changed the quality of the food. So yeah, मैंने उनको बताया कि भाई ये proof है मेरे पास, देख लो आप, अब अपने हिसाब से अब आप कर लो. And yeah, I mean like they did change stuff, although for a while, but they did, right? And yeah,
Right.
basically everyone still remembers me over there. Like
So,
although faculty has
you
been
know,
changed, but the
you
school.
listen to Eminem, right? You are Eminem's biggest
Yeah,
fan.
yeah,
Okay.
actually yes. Like,
So the thing is that even though we have struggled a lot,
mhm.
right? We have
Uh-huh.
went through so much, but you know his level now, where he is
Exactly.
at.
Hmm.
So what I believe is that God gives us these problems, and if we have the confidence to overcome them, then we become better people.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. But before, like having the confidence, like there's just one more stage, okay? So the stage, like which I am going to talk about is basically, okay, matlab, like when you start believing in yourself, right? And when you start unlearning things. Okay, because like
That
let's be
is very
very
important.
honest, yes, exactly. See, because
Yeah.
okay, well, like even that, because like you are a 90s kid and so am I, right? So like
Right.
अपन को उस वे से brought up किया गया कि मतलब like in our minds, you
Hmm.
know, I mean, like what all we have been told is कि मतलब like there's a certain way to do things. ठीक है,
Right.
अगर तुम इस हिसाब से अगर तुम चलोगे तो तुम बहुत अच्छा करोगे, right? मतलब पहले इट वाज कि भाई इंजीनियरिंग या फिर डॉक्टर बनना है, ये तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है तुम्हारे लिए, राइट? आर्टिस्ट बनना है, घंटा कुछ नहीं होगा, मतलब लाइक यू विल रूइन योर करियर, लोग क्या कहेंगे,
Right.
दिस एंड दैट.
Right.
So yeah, right.
Hmm.
I mean, so matlab, the day you start unlearning things, right, you will gain more confidence, right? And the more you gain confidence, the better you will be in the near future.
I'm
Because
not too kidding.
आगे
You
जा,
should write a book.
हाँ जी.
You should write a book.
I am actually planning on writing, um, like novels and stuff. But अभी नहीं, अभी अपन थोड़ा सा break पर हैं. But yeah, by time I am gonna write a book.
What are your hobbies otherwise?
What are my hobbies? Okay, I play basketball. Right. I mean, like if I get the time or the chance to,
Right.
right. I'm not an avid reader, but I do read. I mean, like if I am in the mood, I'll read the entire book in 2 days.
Right.
Right. I do watch movies and I watch series as well. And yeah, and I love to cook. Yeah.
My friend took my Netflix account, and now for some reason I have Sex and the City in my profile. Changing the topic. What are your
But
views on politics?
Hanji,
What are your views on politics?
what are my views on politics? Okay, see, according to me, what all I believe is that corruption is a thing जो अभी तक जिसकी ना नीत कायम है.
Is it a
ठीक है.
good thing or a bad thing, according to you?
Well, it's moderate because there are few politicians, right, who are actually nice, right? But then there are few politicians who are completely crap. अगर अपन बोले तो टट्टी.
Right.
ठीक है ना? I mean, like what all they care about is vote, right, and that is it, and money.
True.
ठीक है? Which, according to me, is not that fine because, like, let's be very honest. See, although India has grown a lot, right, in the past few years, but crime का ratio उससे double हो चुका है. If you are familiar with that, ठीक है? After the Nirbhaya case, right, crime double triple हो चुका है and like it is
You
not
know why
stopped.
is that?
हाँ जी.
You know why is that?
Why is that? I
Because rape has been converted into a death sentence. So, what the perpetrator thinks is that instead of leaving a witness, I'm going to die anyway if I'm
exactly.
going to rape someone.
Mhm.
So, they just murder
Ex-
them. So,
exactly
that is.
the thing. Okay, so I have a question for you. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like like I mean, like when we talk about legal stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
so okay, so like, what are your opinions on death penalty? I mean, like, are you against it or are you in favor of it?
death penalty. Okay, that's a
Mm-hmm.
tough.
Death penalty.
I always believe that if you give someone the incentive that they are going to die, then
Mm-hmm.
in the future other people are not going to commit the same crime or will be less inclined to do so. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
talking about the individual person who has committed the crime, as tragic as the crime would have been, but
Mm-hmm.
at least it would demotivate other people to not commit the same crime.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe in the ex post facto law कि आगे जाके क्या impact होएगा
Okay.
consequence.
Okay. So my next question is, okay, like after the like death penalty, अभी जो recently जो मिली थी जो निर्भया के जो victims जो थे, ठीक है,
Hmm.
मतलब basically the ones who committed the offense, right? तो उसके बाद कोई change तो आया नहीं है, ठीक है, अभी भी हर एक चीज सेम टू
How
सेम
do
हो रही
you
है. हाँ जी.
क्या पता किसी को किसी का मर्डर करना था लेकिन उसने डेथ पेनल्टी देखी तो उसने बोला कि नहीं यार मैं नहीं करूंगा. तो डू यू नो दैट?
No, I don't know that. But like, what all I know is that people commit such crimes, right? And they aren't even ashamed of it, or they aren't even scared of it. I
Okay.
mean, like, there was this. I guess like it was the driver, right? मतलब like मतलब like जिसने suicide commit कर लिया था.
Hmm.
Like in the jail itself, right? And he wasn't even like guilty of it. I mean, like guilty का तो जी भी नहीं था उसके अंदर, and like he was very proud of it. Whereas the juvenile, I mean the kid, like who was in it as well, ठीक है. तो उसके साथ I guess मतलब like now he has a different name, right? And he lives in South, I guess. I guess like it's either Pune or Tamil Nadu, right? And वो अभी भी वो हरकतें करते हैं. I mean, like he still molests people, even after, you know.
Lola, the system is not perfect, but it is the
Exactly.
best system that we have.
Is it the best system do we have? Is that
Do
what you
we
believe?
have? Do you have a plan for a better system? Stone people to death.
See, okay, I do not believe in death penalties, and I have my reasons for that.
Okay.
I mean, like, I might sound stupid,
No,
but
no, of course not.
um, okay. So the reasons which I have, for like not believing in death penalty is basically number one.
Right.
Okay, so मतलब like okay, मतलब मैं जो नींव रखने वाली हूँ ना, है ना, that will be निर्भया वाला ही, ठीक है, फाइन, because like उसके बाद मतलब
Fair
like
enough.
मतलब बहुत ज्यादा हो चुके हैं, ठीक है, फाइन, एंड हर एक घर में हो रहा है, ठीक है,
Right.
मतलब पहले फिर भी मतलब like there was this like मतलब like people used to be scared, मतलब before committing a crime,
Right. Right. Right.
fine.
I got
But
it.
now it has been, like doubled now, because like people really do not give a shit, because उनको पता है कि भाई ये system खराब है, right? और ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्या होगा, डेथ पेनल्टी मिलेगी ना, देख लेंगे, ठीक है, that is what they believe in, because okay, मतलब like मेरी family में खुद हो चुके हैं, so that is how I know, ठीक है.
Hmm.
Although like the person was very much scared of it, right? So like he left the country, but बाहर भी जाके he did the same, and then he was in hiding. That's a whole different thing. So yeah, okay, so the first one is that people like after committing the crime, okay, like it depends on them, okay, whether or not they will be scared of it, okay, because let's be very honest, okay, so like there's this thing, okay, intoxication पे जब बंदा जब होता है, ठीक है, and if he or she commits a crime, ठीक है,
Hmm.
तो मतलब like उनको डेथ पेनल्टी नहीं दी जाती है, ठीक है, मतलब like they are jailed for a certain time period, right? And
Right.
if right, yeah, right, and like if the higher authority sees like some sort of improvement in them, ठीक है, तो
Right.
वो उनकी मतलब वो जो जेल टाइम उनका जो होता है, they tend to decrease that, ठीक है.
Right. Right.
तो yeah, ठीक है, now that's a different thing कि like उसके बाद they tend to commit like such things again, ठीक है, तो वो डर खत्म हो चुका है, ठीक है. I mean I am really not sure whether you are familiar of this or not, ठीक है, but these days we women मतलब we play the victim card a lot, right? And we get away with it easily, like like within a click, ठीक है, क्योंकि अपन को पता है कि भाई कि अपन को कौन रोकेगा, मतलब अपन विक्टिम कार्ड प्ले कर लेगा, एंड दैट इज इट, राइट? अभी तक जितने भी ज्यादा फॉल्स केसेस लाइक बंदों पे लगाए जाते हैं, ठीक है, मतलब जो भी उनके ऊपर थोपा जाता है, ठीक है, दैट यू नो दैट दिस गाय मोलेस्टेड मी, राइट, और दिस गाय ट्राइड टू रेप मी, दिस एंड दैट, राइट, तो आधे से ज्यादा फॉल्स निकलते हैं, राइट। एंड हंसता कौन है? वो बेचारा बंदा जिसने कभी कुछ कमिट भी नहीं कुछ किया,
उसकी रेपुटेशन फैमिली की भी खराब हो जाती है।
एग्जैक्टली, ठीक है। तो या तो बेसिकली अब ये चीज है, ठीक है, फाइन, कि मतलब बंदों के अंदर ना वो डर एक तो खत्म हो चुका है, ठीक है। सेकेंडली, यू नो लाइक इट्स रिलेटेड टू यू नो लाइक सेक्सुअल प्लेजर्स, राइट। तो बात ये है कि प्लेजर के लिए बंदा कुछ भी करेगा, ठीक है, जैसे बंदा खाने के लिए कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, आज की तारीख में बंदा प्लेजर के लिए कुछ भी करेगा, ठीक है ना।
Don't you think that
बिकॉज वी
we are
हैव द
different from animals? Pleasure के लिए, मतलब don't you think we are different from animals? Pleasure के
exactly
लिए
see okay technically we are different from animals, right, but हमारी हरकत तो उनसे भी ज्यादा गंदी है। I
good
mean,
point.
एक इंसान एक जानवर का रेप कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, that is I guess section 377, right, unnatural offenses under IPC, ठीक है। और ये खाली ये एक या दो केसेस नहीं सुने हैं मैंने, ठीक है, स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग द मतलब ये लॉकडाउन, ऐसे मैंने 50 केसेस सुने हैं in a particular month, you know, कि मतलब मतलब खास करके like a man raping a dog or a man raping a sheep or a man raping a cow, मतलब like the like उसका जो बछड़ा होता है काऊ का, raping that मतलब that animal। तो ऐसे केसेस बहुत ज्यादा सुने हैं मैंने स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग द लॉकडाउन। तो हाँ, लाइक हम इंसान तो उनसे भी बदतर जा रहे हैं।
Okay, so I have studied a bit of psychology. So I want to ask you a couple of questions related to that.
Sure,
So,
go.
do you think a criminal is born that way?
No,
He's raised that way?
no,
So
not at all.
how does he become a criminal?
How does he become a criminal? Okay. So the theory which I have is either this or that wali, ठीक है। तो होता okay, so like I'll give you an example, ठीक है। For example, if my family is very toxic, supposedly, ठीक है, that my family is very toxic, ठीक है, fine, they are very narrow minded, ठीक है, fine, and मतलब मैं घर से बाहर निकलती हूँ, ठीक है, जैसे मैं अभी हूँ, ठीक है। नाउ इट डिपेंड्स ऑन मी, ठीक है, वेदर और नॉट आई वांट टू बी लाइक देम, राइट, और आई वुड लाइक टू बी लाइक अ बेटर वर्जन ऑफ देम, ठीक है, विच बेसिकली इज कि मतलब या तो जी मतलब मुझको भी टॉक्सिसिटी में जाना है, ठीक है, या तो जी मतलब मैं अपना आपको एक बेटर पर्सन बना सकती हूँ, ठीक है ना। सो मोस्टली व्हाट हैपेंस इज यू नो कि मतलब व्हाट पीपल चूज टू बी इज मतलब कैसे समझाऊं यार। ओके, तो लगा लो कि मतलब अगर मैं टॉक्सिक फैमिली में हूँ, ठीक है, एंड दिस एंड दैट, ठीक है, तो अगर मैं आगे जाके इफ आई हैव अ किड, ठीक है, तो अब वो मेरे ऊपर है कि मैं उसको उसी वे से डांटूंगी धमकाऊंगी जैसे मेरे घर वाले मुझे धमकाते थे, ठीक है, या फिर मैं उससे बहुत मतलब लाइक मतलब एक काफी आराम से और काफी प्यार से बैठ के उसको मैं समझाऊंगी कि बेटा देख एबीसी चीजें हैं, ठीक है, अब ये तेरे ऊपर है कि तेरे को करना है या नहीं करना, ठीक है, लाइक इंस्टेड ऑफ like slapping my kid, right, or like threatening them, ठीक है, and basically like bounding them, ठीक है, तो basically it's either this or that, ठीक है,
But
और
Lola, you come from a good family, right? Matlab,
yeah,
you
of
belong
course,
to a good family. So
हाँ,
I'm talking about a person who has an abusive father, alcoholic father who beats him every day. Her mother is a prostitute, and they live in a poverty condition. So the child hangs around and associate with a gang of
exactly,
criminals. So
exactly, but then
so
it
does he have
depends
a
on him
choice?
now.
Does he really have a choice?
Yes, Eminem is the example. Eminem is the
Eminem is one in a million.
exactly, but उसके जैसे और भी तो लोग हैं ना, I guess, okay, like who played like Avengers में there was this guy, like who was
Come
jailed
on,
for
that's fiction.
drugs.
I'm talking about real people. Like
Is that fiction?
yesterday. Sorry?
Is that fiction?
No.
अच्छा,
I'm talk I'm talking about real people. Yesterday I went out of my house and I have seen so many, you know, not well off people doing unspeakable things. And
Mm-hmm.
I wondered what made them that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
ये होता है ना कि संगत जैसी वैसी रंगत.
Mm-hmm.
जैसे एनवायरनमेंट होएगा तो बंदा भी ऐसे होएगा, प्लस द जेनेटिक प्रीडिस्पोजिशन. सो
Uh-huh.
हाउ मच इज अ पर्सन टू ब्लेम फॉर हिज एक्ट्स?
हाँ. Okay. मतलब अभी जो तुमने बोला कि संगत, मतलब कि जैसी संगत वैसी रंगत, राइट? मेरी संगत काफी अलग है, ठीक है ना? बेसिकली संगत इन द सेंस, यू नो, आई मीन दे कंज्यूम ड्रग्स, हार्डकोर ड्रग्स, ठीक है?
राइट.
गांजा उनके लिए कुछ भी नहीं है, ठीक है? दे आर प्योर अल्कोहलिक्स. On the other hand, I have stopped drinking because like after a certain point I realized कि भाई this thing is not good for me, although I am still friends with them, right? And हमारी बहुत अच्छी दोस्ती है, no doubt, ठीक है?
ओके.
But then the thing is कि मतलब like do I really want to continue that way? And that was my question, you know, like to myself. And you know, after a while I just stopped drinking and I do not consume drugs. I mean, ganja या weed जो भी तुम बोलते हो, I've just stopped consuming them because, as I said, it's either this or that, right? I mean, like it
राइट.
depends on you कि तुमको क्या करने का है. भाड़ में जाए दुनिया, तुमको क्या करने का है?
राइट. आर यू इंटरेस्टेड इन न्यूरोसाइंस और स्टडी ऑफ ब्रेन?
Um, I am really not good with science, but
Acha,
I really
I'll just give you an example in brief. So, what the research has shown that
Mhm,
the part of the brain that is known as the amygdala that controls your impulses has
mhm,
shown to be less in size in
mhm,
criminals than in normal people.
mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
so is it because of that neurochemistry, their brain size, that they commit those acts? Or is it because of their own free will? This is what fascinates me, you know,
Um,
because
well,
everyone is different.
exactly. Everyone is different, right? And henceforth, everyone has a choice. Remember that as well, because as you said, like, okay, see, like, it really doesn't matter, okay, you know, ki, my love, like, whether the person is, you know, like, one in a million or not, right? Because, okay, so the thing is, ki, you know, like, as you and I met through, you know, like, a site, you know, like, an app, if you are
Right,
familiar with it, ठीक है ना? हाँ, तो like I still use it, right? And I have heard a lot of stories, ठीक है ना? मतलब like
right,
उनका पूरा past मुझे पता है, ठीक है ना?
right, right,
तो now the thing is कि है ना? हाँ, मतलब अभी तुमने जो बोला, ठीक है, कि मतलब यू नो कि whether you know मतलब like what fantasize you is कि
mhm,
you know that they commit that crime due to you know like their own pleasure, or you know like there are some other factors to it,
right,
ठीक है ना? Okay, okay, so मतलब this is my theory, ठीक है? It starts from other factors, ठीक
right.
है? आगे जाके it becomes your pleasure, ठीक है? For example, cigarettes, nicotine, ठीक है?
That's what I'm eating right now.
You are
Anyways,
you are eating nicotine?
yeah, Nigotex. Continue.
हाँ, अच्छा, निकोटेक्स, ओके ओके ओके,
Yeah,
या ओके, है ना? हाँ, ठीक है. अब यू नो मतलब अब जैसे ओके ओके, सो मतलब अगर मैं अपनी बात करूँ, ठीक है, सो आई स्टार्टेड स्मोकिंग, ठीक है, बिकॉज यू नो आई जस्ट यू नो मतलब लाइक सॉ पीपल अराउंड मी स्मोकिंग, फॉर एग्जाम्पल मतलब स्पेशली माय फादर, ठीक है?
mm,
तो मतलब लाइक पहले आई यूज्ड टू बी डिस्गस्टेड बाय इट, ठीक है? बट देन
right,
बाय टाइम, ठीक है, आई वाज लाइक कि ट्राई करने में क्या जाता है, बिकॉज एवरीवन डज इट, ठीक है?
right,
सो आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग इट एज वेल. By time, I realized कि I cannot live without it anymore. Because सुबह सुबह उठते साथ ही, ठीक है, with my coffee, I need a cigarette. ठीक है, खाना खा के I need a cigarette. सोने से पहले I need a cigarette. You know, मतलब memes देखते देखते I need a cigarette. So I got habitual of it. ठीक
right,
है, and उसके बाद वाला स्टेज जो होता है ना, वो तुम्हारे ऊपर है कि भाई अभी हमको बस करने का है या फिर अभी हमको और कंटिन्यू करने का है. So So basically, like it starts, मतलब like with these surroundings, ठीक है, like with other factors, ठीक है, whether it मतलब like whether it's depression, ठीक है, or like it's bullying, or like you just want to have some friends and stuff like that, right? But then उसके बाद it just tends to become your pleasure, ठीक है, because तुमको खुशी मिलती है वो करके, ठीक है, I mean like मतलब you find that like you are at peace, ठीक है. henceforth अगर हम बात करें वीड की, ठीक है, सिगरेट्स तो चलो that's a different thing, ठीक है, वीड की. So I have always been like hearing this thing that weed is something like which will मतलब like make you happy, right? It will make you work even more, and like stuff like that.
You never tried weed?
I did my experiments with it. उसके बाद
Right.
then I like got habitual of it. Anyway,
कैसा लगा?
कैसा लगा?
First experience.
All bullshit, ठीक है ना? I mean, see, like everything starts from here, ठीक है ना? Fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the first experiment of mine was, like with, like weed and cigarettes, ठीक है? So I smoked a cigarette, ठीक है, before a joint, right, and then after a joint, ठीक है ना? The
Damn.
second experiment, हाँ,
कुछ नहीं.
ठीक है. Second experiment was, like me, like smoking a cigarette before a joint, and then having liquor, with it. Or मतलब like after like smoking a joint, I consumed liquor. ठीक है, मतलब like I was, मतलब like still tipsy, and like I was, more weird. Yeah.
Right.
ठीक है. उसके बाद I had like this third experiment, right, where I consumed a joint, a cigarette, and weed. Oh, so sorry, like liquor all together. ठीक है. And that was the day I was fucked up. ठीक है ना? अब जैसे, I mean, I have never tried mushrooms, right? But I have been told that mushrooms are magical, right? So basically, if you never had, like mushrooms, try, like cigarette, weed, and liquor together, and वो तुम्हारे एक अलग level का होगा. So
I know.
yeah. उसके
मैंने कल
बाद I
कर.
got habitual of it. I mean, see, I also, मतलब like smoked up, basically, like did my joint, right, and I tried to be productive. नहीं हुआ. I mean, see, like although I had, मतलब like pretty good ideas in my head, ठीक है,
Right.
कि मतलब अगर मुझे अपना खुद का कुछ शुरू करना है, ठीक है, for example, मतलब like writing my own novel, ठीक है, तो मतलब ये ideas आ रहे थे. But like, was I able to, like do that? No. Was it productive? No. ठीक है.
Right.
In fact, I just got habitual of it, right? And एक joint एक हफ्ते का जो होता है, ठीक है, that got extended to 2, ठीक है, and then every day का मतलब like 3 से 4 joints in a day, ये मेरा शुरू हो गया था.
Really?
And yeah, and not only that, honey, I mean, okay, हर दिन का अल्कोहल, ठीक है, हर दिन का दारू, ठीक है, हर दिन का गांजा, हर दिन के पता ही नहीं कितने डब्बे सिगरेट्स, ठीक है, I was ruined, ठीक है ना? So
Okay.
yeah, and then I just thought, like it's either this or that, and I chose to be that person which I am today.
Right. And I'm
So yeah,
really proud of you.
thank you. See, like I will not deny that I have stopped doing it completely, ठीक है, I do it, but occasionally, ठीक है, and लगा लो कि I mean, like if someone's मतलब like if someone calls me and says कि भाई फूकने का है, I'll be like no. भाई मैं तेरे घर के बहुत ज्यादा पास हूँ, नहीं करना मुझे. मैं सिगरेट कर रही हूँ अपना, भाई मैं नहीं आ सकती. एंड द बेस्ट पार्ट इज कि मैं अपने घर वालों पे लगा देती हूँ कि भाई कि मतलब मेरे घर वाले आ रहे हैं, या फिर लाइक स्टफ लाइक दैट, कि जिससे मतलब मैं उतना मैं निकलूं ही ना मैं अपना. क्योंकि अगर मैं निकल गई, ठीक है, उनको मना करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो जाता है, ठीक है, बट देयर आर टाइम्स, ठीक है, जहाँ पे आई जस्ट से कि डूड आई डोंट वांट टू डू इट, इट मींस आई डोंट वांट टू डू इट, आई एम डन विद इट. सो नहीं भाई, आज का हो गया मेरा. उसके बाद अब वो उनके ऊपर है कि उनको गुस्सा होना है, भाड़ में जाए, गाड़ में रहे, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
अच्छा, तो ये बताओ कि मतलब if you do not want to do weed like for a day, okay, but ये घर वालों का बहाना नहीं है, you are outside with your friends, so they pressure you to smoke it, so what are you going to do? Are you
अगर
going to
मेरा मन होगा, देखो अगर मेरा मन होगा ठीक है आई विल डू ठीक है बट 3 पफ से ज्यादा नहीं क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि भाई कि मतलब मुझे घर वापस आना है ठीक है ना मतलब मुझको ड्रॉप करने वाला कोई नहीं होगा ठीक है नंबर 1 सेकेंडली अगर कोई होगा भी ना ठीक है तो लाइक आई डोंट वांट देम टू नो माय एड्रेस
Forget about going home. Just tell me that if you don't want to smoke and people are pressuring you to
I won't
light up,
I won't do it. I'll just watch them, you know, and that is
you
it.
won't be
And
pressured.
I'll get my stories. Yeah. I mean, I won't do it. And there have been times, you know, like where I did not, you know, like smoked up with them.
Right.
So, exactly.
So, are there any like some short stories you can tell?
Mm, okay, what type of short stories? I mean, like
What
regarding.
what are you working on? Matlab, something that we won't copy. Just just a basic idea. What kind of stories would
So,
you write?
I, okay. So the thing is, okay. I mean, like if I would be writing about my life, right? Then of course, you know,
Right.
like I'm gonna write about my experiences, right?
Right.
Especially my young adult, you know, like time period, right?
Right. Right.
जहाँ पे you know like I was surrounded by people you know like who used to consume cigarettes and alcohol and weed, right? And basically,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, ठीक है. And then you know like how I got habitual of it, right? And you know like how I overcame that thing.
Right.
Okay, that's one thing. Okay, secondly I okay, so right, yeah. And then secondly you know like I will be you know like adding my theories in it because like I have a lot of theories. Okay,
Hmm.
and yeah, so like I'm gonna add that, right, including my relationships and yeah stuff like that. So मतलब like everything has a theory. ठीक है like अभी तक जितना भी I have experienced, right, तो सबकी एक एक theory निकाल के रखी हुई है मैंने. So yeah,
Damn, I'm impressed. What about fiction?
fiction.
Short stories.
Okay, so like I have this one fiction, right, which I have been planning since 2017.
Right.
Yeah, so like it's
Don't tell the
basically
plot. It's
no, no,
fine.
I'm
Just
not telling you the plot, but I am just like just telling you the genre. Okay, so the
yeah.
genre will be erotic, psych crime.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean मतलब like erotic का जो ratio है वो थोड़ा सा कम है, ठीक है.
Right.
It's like 2:5 because वो psych crime ज़्यादा वो अच्छा लगेगा तो yeah because of the character which I've developed. So yeah.
Let's make a pact. Let's make a short story together.
Okay.
Hilarious. No, I am a very good writer. I'm telling you.
I know that. Dude,
Yeah.
like
So,
I have been knowing you since the past 5 years now.
yeah, we can write about drugs and law and everything that we have
I'm
talked about.
all in. I am all in.
We experienced a lot.
Yeah, we did. We did actually. You know, but like in our own ways. And the best part about, you know, I mean, like you and I is basically that, you know, okay, so like you and I, it though we belong to the, you know, मतलब like same career path. Okay.
Right.
Secondly, when it comes to you know like drugs and everything, okay, you and I have been doing that. You know, I mean, like we first experienced that. You know, like in our young adults, right?
Yeah.
And then you know like we overcame that thing of ours.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, so yeah, I mean, like you know, like you and I are pretty much similar when it comes to life. So yeah,
And our childhood trauma as well.
yeah,
It may
actually.
be different. Do
At
you
some
mind if I
point,
share mine?
no, no, please carry on. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, my parents were not there when I was a little kid, so I was all alone. So, you know what I used to do? Because I thought कि मैं मम्मी मम्मी बोलूँगा तो पता नहीं किसी और की मम्मी सुन लेगी. So I used to call प्रीति शर्मा कहाँ हो. So like I was all alone and no one to guide me. So it felt like I played with my toys and made them my friends. So I just think that if you want to raise kids, you if you want to make kids, you have to raise them.
Exactly.
So that's one of the reasons why children turn to drugs to
No,
cope.
yeah, that's like one factor. That is one factor.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, well, like when I talk about my childhood, okay, so my parents were there, right, but they were not there as well because my father used to get transferred so oftenly because उनका नया नया सबका सब था.
right.
ठीक है. हाँ, तो मतलब कभी पापा दिल्ली एक महीने में, ठीक है, सेकंड महीने पापा बॉम्बे में होते थे, ठीक है, फिर मतलब पापा को फिर से क्या बोलते हैं, मतलब लाइक बॉम्बे के किसी कोने में घुसा देते थे, ठीक है, तो मतलब माय फादर हैड दैट स्ट्रगल, ठीक है, लाइक इन द
तुम्हें भी
बिगिनिंग.
ट्रांसफर होना पड़ता था?
हाँ, मतलब हमको भी होना पड़ता था, सो दिस इज द रीजन.
Okay.
मतलब मेरे को तो नानी के घर छोड़ दिया था बिकॉज लाइक आई वाज मतलब लाइक वेरी मच नोटोरियस, राइट, एंड मतलब माय मदर वाजंट एबल टू हैंडल मी बिकॉज मेरा भाई भी बहुत ज्यादा छोटा था और वो भी थोड़ा सा खिसका हुआ था, खिसका हुआ इन द सेंस कि मतलब लाइक ही
हाँ,
वाज
I got it.
स्टिल वेरी नोटोरियस, ठीक है
Got
ना.
it. Right.
या ठीक है, एंड एंड मतलब लाइक मी एंड माय ब्रदर मतलब लाइक वी हैड हेल्थ इश्यूज अ लॉट, ठीक है, तो मतलब लाइक मम्मा, मतलब मम्मा के लिए लाइक इट वाज लाइक अ बिट डिफिकल्ट लाइक हैंडल अस. तो मुझको तो
Right.
नानी के घर भेज दिया था, ठीक है, एंड एंड फिर जब मैं स्कूल के एज की जब मैं अपना आई, तो माय
Right.
फादर डिसाइडेड कि व्हाट, मतलब मुझे और मेरे भाई को दोनों को ना हॉस्टल भेज देते हैं. सो आई स्टार्टेड लिविंग देयर, ठीक है
Solution to everything.
यार.
बच्चे को हॉस्टल
एग्जैक्टली,
भेज दो.
एग्जैक्टली, नहीं सी बट देन द थिंग इज ना कि मतलब मम्मा और पापा को मतलब लाइक एवरी मंथ मतलब माय
Right.
फादर
Right.
गेट ट्रांसफर,
Right.
तो पापा वाज लाइक कि मतलब इतना खर्चा पहली बात तो आई कैन नॉट डू, ठीक है ना,
Right.
लाइक एक जगह से दूसरी जगह, ठीक है, उसके बाद ये मतलब फिर स्कूलों में फिर धक्के खाना के भाई एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. सो पापा वाज लाइक कि मतलब कि इनके एजुकेशन पे कुछ मतलब वो चीज ना आए, ठीक है,
Impact ना.
मैं हॉस्टल डाल देता हूँ
Right.
ना. हाँ, तो हाँ, सो है ना. हाँ, तो मतलब मी एंड माय ब्रदर लाइक वी स्टार्टेड इन लाइक डिफरेंट हॉस्टल्स, ठीक है, एंड उसके बाद फिर जब पापा वाज सेटल्ड फॉर अ व्हाइल, ठीक है,
Hmm.
देन वी शिफ्टेड बैक टू फरीदाबाद, ठीक है,
Okay.
एंड देन लाइक वी लिव्ड देयर, राइट, एंड उसमें भी मतलब पापा की डेज एंड नाइट्स होती थी, राइट, और मम्मा का खुद का थोड़ा बहुत मतलब like कि हाँ वहाँ का था कि मतलब my mother was like also starting this like this beauty parlor wala stuff कि that like how to do like these fancy stuff जिसको हम hair coloring बोलते हैं, right, cutting and stuff. तो मतलब मम्मा उसका भी कोर्स कर रही थी, ठीक है ना, एंड हम लोग स्कूल जाने लग गए थे अपना आराम से. तो उस चीज में ना फिर काफी ज्यादा फिर वो था, ठीक है.
तुम्हारी मॉम ने करे है तुम्हारे हेयर कलर?
नहीं, ये तो मैंने किया, और अगर मेरी अम्मा जान को पता लगा ना, गर्दन कटेगी मेरी सीधा. मेरी गर्दन सीधा कटेगी.
Okay, coming back to point.
है ना. हाँ, ठीक है, राइट, हाँ, है ना. हाँ, एंड मतलब लाइक व्हेन आई वाज यंग, माय मतलब माय फादर यूज्ड टू स्मोक अ लॉट, राइट, एंड
Right.
मतलब आई हैव सीन दैट माय सेल्फ, ठीक है, मतलब पापा दारू पीते थे, मतलब लाइक सुट्टा करके दारू, फिर वापस से सुट्टा, फिर दारू, फिर सुट्टा. तो पापा वाज मतलब लाइक इन दिस कंप्लीट लाइक दिस
In
वेरी
his own zone.
बैड स्टेज, ठीक है
Right.
ना.
Right.
पापा की गलती नहीं थी बिकॉज संगत पापा की ऐसी थी, ठीक है, बिकॉज लाइक उस टाइम पे भाई मतलब लाइक सबको एक रेस चाहिए होती थी, ठीक है, कि मतलब लाइक जितनी जल्दी रेस मिल सके उतना बेटर, ठीक है, बिकॉज जेलेसी उस टाइम पे भी एग्जिस्ट करती थी, अभी भी करती है, ठीक है.
Trust me, I get it.
एग्जैक्टली, ठीक है, तो मतलब लाइक पापा के फ्रेंड्स उनको बहुत ज्यादा उनको दारू पिला देते थे, राइट, एंड हेंसफोर्थ पापा गॉट हैप्चुअल ऑफ दैट, ठीक है ना. एनीवे, ठीक है, लाइक लाइक फास्ट फॉरवर्डिंग द थिंग्स, मेरा शुरू हुआ था लाइक व्हेन आई वाज डिप्रेस्ड, ठीक है ना, like when I was depressed, right, and I was like just wondering to myself कि भाई कि मतलब like cigarettes में ऐसा क्या है कि कि मतलब
Hmm.
कि पापा करते रहते हैं कि अब्बा जान जी ऐसा करते रहते हैं, दिक्कत क्या है, मतलब इसके अंदर मतलब ये चीज है क्या. So I did it, right, and I felt nice. I kid you not, I felt relaxed, I felt nice. मैंने फिर भी बोला कि टट्टी मैं नहीं कर रही. उसके बाद like I started doing it more often because मतलब my parents used to leave their place like for a while, and जब भी they used to go, I used to smoke one, and yeah, that is how I got habitual of it.
Right.
मतलब मेरा ड्रग्स बेसिकली मेरा ना शुरू हुआ था just because of the hype, see, like the things which I am, or like I have been into, was all because of the hype. Because the more people hype things, right, the more like a child thinks कि अरे इसके अंदर ऐसा क्या है, मुझे भी ट्राई करना चाहिए. And then वो सब करते करते तुम्हारा I am really not sure whether or not ये psychologically है या नहीं है, but then like you just tend to get habitual of it. ठीक है, बिकॉज तुम एक बार ही करते हो, ठीक है, वो तुमको बैठता, फिर तुम दूसरी बारी फिर से तुम करते हो, ठीक है, बिकॉज कि तुमने एक्सपीरियंस बाकियों के तुमने सुने हुए हैं. एंड देन वो एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करते 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 यू बिकम हैबिचुअल ऑफ इट.
Addiction is not because of pleasure. Addiction is just to curb our underlying psychological issues like depression and anxiety.
Exactly. See, okay, but then see, like these things starts from stage 1 na. Stage
Hmm.
1 is really like basically all the hypes, ठीक है, which you listen to.
Right.
ठीक है, देन वो एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करते करते यू राइट, उसके
Get
बाद देन यू
addicted.
बिकम हैबिचुअल ऑफ इट, ठीक है ना.
Right.
और उसके
Right.
बाद मतलब जी फिर वो स्टेज 3 तुम्हारे ऊपर है कि वेदर दिस और दैट. तो
Right.
हाँ, सो मतलब
Right.
दैट इज माय थ्योरी एंड आई डू लिव बाय दिस नाउ, ऑल्दो आई स्टिल कंज्यूम सिगरेट्स, ठीक है, बट एनीवे, yeah, I still do consume that, but but then मतलब like उस
It's fine, yaar. Live your
it's
life.
fine. I am living my life, and the best part is कि you know I mean मतलब like I know how to control it, right, and मतलब like when to control it.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, that is the thing. So मतलब like just do what you want to, but like also मतलब like just make sure कि तुम लोग उस लेवल पे तुम लोग मत जाओ, ठीक है, जहाँ से आना मुश्किल हो जाए.
Hmm.
So yeah, like always know your limits. And yeah, that is it. And then like you are good to go, because see, balance, like balance is actually very important, right? Especially like in this generation, okay, balance is everything,
It
okay,
is.
which I lack, okay. I mean, like I don't know how to balance life, right? But I am learning by time.
Except for Dalai Lama, I don't think anyone knows how to balance things. So just chill.
Well, अभी तक जितना मैंने देखा है और जितना मैंने सुना है, people know how to balance, but then कोई बात नहीं. I mean, like we are humans after all, so yeah.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
अच्छा Lola, सुनो.
हाँ जी.
Next time we meet, we'll publish a short story.
Exactly. Indeed, I am all in.
Okay, it was really nice talking to you.
Same here.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye. Bye.